Hello everyone, this is Highland Hedgehog Homestead, and we are going to be doing our first garden tour of the 2020 season right now. So come along and see what we have growing. So here's a quick overview of our garden. We've got quite a few beds, I think 11 35-foot long beds that are just raised up above the wood chips. With compost we brought in from the city. And here's our lovely gate with our little decorations. And we've got two little beds. These are going to be flower beds on either side of the gate. And then an archway over the gate that right now we've got peas just starting to come up to grow over. And then later this year we'll have some vining flowers and maybe some squash on that as well. Mom likes to park the Husqvarna right in front of the gate, so gotta go around it to get in. So here's some peas we've got growing. They haven't quite reached the cattle panel, but they will very soon. And we'll start over this way. So this first bed is empty. This is going to be all not tomatoes, sorry, peppers. So my husband really likes hot peppers, so we're going to grow some hot peppers along that. Then this bed starts off with, we've got multi-sown beets a la Charles Dowding. So we've got a whole bunch of those in here, probably about 10 feet worth. And then we go into, these are all, and you can see we've got some squirrel digging damage, but these are all leeks. And then we go into some onions, different types, yellow sweet, Walla Walla, Studebaker or Studegarter, all the day type that are appropriate for our season. More digging damage. The squirrels really like to come in and dig around in the edges of our beds. So, and then down here at the end, we've got a couple brassicas and some celery that went in just a couple days ago. So it's just starting to get its feet under it. You can kind of see here the difference in color. So this is the stuff that grew while it was inside, and this is what it's grown since it's been outside. Down here at the end, we have our asparagus, and this is probably about 50 feet. We've got 65 plants in there, 2 rows, so 2 rows deep. And you can see here some of it coming up. Now, this asparagus is too young to harvest still. We've got to let it grow for at least a year. So maybe next year we can get a harvest, but maybe not. We might let it grow one more year after that. This next row over here is our brassica bed, and we still have to get some of it in. We've got about half of it planted. So down here we have, these are round-headed cabbage, and then it's interplanted with celery here in the middle. And there's actually 3 beet seeds between each brassica as well, because those will grow and be finished before we are ready to harvest. Then the next one here, the purple one right there, is purple head cabbage. And then around here we start having some onions in the middle. We got some red onion bulb sets that we put in, and I just put those in a row down the middle. You can see them coming up. And again, between each one of these is 3 beet seeds, so beets will be coming up. Then these are a really cool cabbage that forms kind of a triangular shaped head. So those are going to be interesting for this year. We've never had them before, but Charles Dowding really likes them, so, and we like him, so we're going to try them. I think they're called calabash cabbage. And then we've got our lone leek right there that sprouted up from last year's leeks. They were in this section last year. Then we've got our big patch over here, and this patch is a little bit differently laid out because our plan is to do a 3 Sisters garden in this area. So we're going to do corn, squash, and beans all together on hills, a la the 3 Sisters method, and we'll try to do a video on that and make sure you guys see how it's done. And then we've got a tree that we cut down and cut into pieces that's edging this on the downhill side to kind of hold everything there. So we are on a bit of a slope here. So this bed is mostly empty still, but we do have some radishes that we spilled last year actually that have been coming up that we've been eating, and they're delicious. They're white radishes. And then at the end of this bed we have Mom's kiddie pool with strawberries in it that you guys have seen the video of that we planted, and then all of our extra strawberries over there that are going to be going up in the front perennial garden. And then this here is a red-veined sorrel plant, and it's real lemony and real delicious, and we like that mixed in with our salads. And then of course our rain gauge. Been getting a lot of rain lately. Here is the bed, short bed with all of our peas that we planted the other day. So these are all snow peas coming up. And then the center of this bed is actually our propagation bed. So we've got these coming up here in the straw, our hazelnuts. We've got 5 or 6 of them. Then in these pots we've got sunchokes and Jerusalem artichokes. So those are root vegetables that should be real tasty come fall. And then we have a whole bunch of currants, both red and black. These were all cuttings that were started. And then next to those we have a whole bunch of elderberry. We like elderberry a lot. It's a very medicinal plant and can help with tinctures, make tinctures out of it, and help with the common cold and that sort of thing. And then I also make elderberry flavored, elderflower flavored liqueur out of it, like St. Germain's, if you've ever bought that in the store. Then the propagation bed here, all of these plant starts, cuttings and whatnot, we got from Edible Acres. And Edible Acres is one of the YouTubes that we watch, but he also has a small nursery that he runs, and we made an order from him for all of these. So these will be going out into the perennial areas of our garden up front and in the forest next year. Our next bed here is another long bed. These 3 here go up and down the hill, and then all the rest go side to side on the hill. So in this bed we've got several different types of carrots that were started this spring. Carrots are notoriously slow, so even though these have been in the ground maybe a month and a half, they're still just kind of barely popping their heads up, but they do have some true leaves coming on, so we should see more of those. And some of the ones that we're excited about are we've got Kabuta carrots, which are supposed to be a deep red, and then the tender sweet, which are both types that we haven't tried before. We've always done Danvers half long and Nantes carrots. Then we have another arch here, and this arch has more peas on it. And then we get into some more onions. Now, the onions we saw previously were started indoors and then transplanted out multi-sown, like Charles Dowding does. These onions we direct seeded, so they're a little bit smaller, they'll be a little bit behind the other ones, but we wanted to try both methods to see which one worked better for our garden. So this whole section here is onions. Another arch, cattle panel trellis with some peas on it. And then here at the end we have just a little patch of turnips. We like turnips, but we've never grown them before, so we wanted to do a small section and try them out. These are all purple top. Then we get into the section of the garden that's a little bit more established, a little bit thicker mulch in the walkways, thicker beds, and that we grew in all winter long. So let's talk about that. So in this first section we've got some parsley and some chives growing there, and then we get into some more cruciferous brassicas. So we have broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and kale in this bed, and then they're interplanted with a radish mix that we got from Rohrer Seeds, and that radish mix, we've been loving it. And you can kind of see here some radishes coming up. So those are pink top radishes. I think those are the French breakfast radishes, and they're delicious. We've been pulling them as they've matured. There we go. There's one of the white ones that Mom just pulled up.
And here's a
And like I said, these are interplanted in...
red one.
Oh, that's a nice red one.
Mm-hmm.
They're interplanted in between our brassicas here. Oh, and we've got some Brussels sprouts in here as well.
We've got a handful here.
Now, the reason we do brassicas all in one bed, at least in this area, is because we deal with a lot of cabbage butterfly. Cabbage butterfly goes after brassica plants, and by having them all in just a couple main beds, we can cover the bed with lightweight agribon or netting or tulle and keep the butterfly out. So that's real helpful. Then we've got the bed that everybody has seen a couple times. This is our winter bed. It was covered all winter. It's got all of our winter crops in it. And when these all come out, this will be our eggplant bed. Next, we have a bed that is mostly garlic. And it starts over here. This stuff it's about waist high on me already. So 2.5, 3 feet tall. And this is all hardneck garlic. This will create a scape that we can eat, a garlic scape. And again, in here we've got interplanting of radish, if you can see that at the bottom. Those aren't weeds, they're radishes. We've been eating them. Mom's picking them now. This next one here is elephant garlic. So this will get real big. The bulbs are the size of your fist or bigger. That's a pretty radish,
Yeah.
white round one. And then after that we have California late white garlic. This is a standard soft neck clove or soft neck bulb, so the kind that you can braid, and it's a real good storage garlic as well. Then we've got some, succession plant our lettuces and our spinach. So we've got some lettuce, some spinach, and then some more beets down here. And of course the other side of this archway is more peas. We put peas on every upright we can during this time of year.
End up with the baby bunnies.
Here's an earlier succession of lettuce and spinach. So you can kind of see these ones were planted late February and these ones were planted middle of March. So you can see the difference in growth that a month and a half makes, even in very cool weather. More spinach here. And the type that's bigger there is not a heat hardy, and we've had a couple warm days, so it's started to bolt. And then we've got a bolt hardy spinach. Then we've got, this is California early white garlic, so it should be ready a little bit before the previous garlic that we showed. And then that's again California late white on the next bed over. These kale over here have been in since middle of last summer. They survived uncovered over the winter and are doing really well. We're still actually eating off of these. So these have been in forever and are still doing quite well. And then I'm not going to get too close because I don't want to scare them again. But that brown tuft right there, I don't know if you can see it. One of them's poking out a little bit. But there is a bunny nest right there in our grass. And we scared them a little bit earlier. So we caught a couple and put them back in the nest. But we've got baby bunnies in there. So I'm not going to go over to the last row because of them, because I don't want to scare them again. But this last row, we have radish, we have parsnip, we have some spinach, and down at the end we have some peas that were planted a couple weeks ago. Now the radish, parsnip, and spinach in this bed was planted just today or yesterday, so it's not coming up yet, but there's 4 or 5 rows across the bed. And then once those are done, we're going to put tomatoes Our indeterminate tomatoes are going to go here with that cattle panel that's up on some T-posts so we can tie them up. Then last but not least, we come out through the back gate and you can see we've got our last archway here. There's peas growing up on either side. We've got a little bit of storage space here. And then we've got our 3 compost bins, our manure pile, and our shed. So thanks for joining us on this, our first garden tour of the spring of 2020. We really appreciate you coming and seeing us. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on this video if you'd like to see more content from us. And we really appreciate you coming and growing. Thanks. Bye.